Is Trump finally being allowed to do what we elected him to do? Are we really living in a country where people can sell bathwater as soap and Americans will applaud them? Is the left's big idea to win back male voters an overweight lesbian influencer? All that, much more, coming up on today's episode of America Unfiltered with James Pascalides, starting now.
The moment is here. This is our moment.
America, we are back, baby. Welcome to another episode of America Unfiltered with James Pascalides. This is episode 59. I talked to you guys about our topics already. We're just going to dive right on into them. 500,000 illegals lose legal status today under President Donald Trump. Trump just rescinded legal protections for 500,000 illegal immigrants, undoing all the abuse Biden did on our nation with the parole and DACA-style loopholes. It is absurd the amount of loopholes that the Biden administration created to allow illegals to pour over the border, abusing our schools, our public systems, our hospitals, and completely overwhelming the taxpayer, causing inflation to go up. It's been causing American jobs to go down. Liberals love to argue that illegals take all the jobs Americans don't want to do. That is untrue. Americans would do the jobs illegals do. They just would not do them for slave labor the same way illegals are willing to work for that. We should not have anyone who supports slavery in this country. When you support illegal immigration, you are supporting the sex trafficking of children. You are supporting slavery. You are supporting low wages and everything that the Democrats claim to stand against. It is absurd that the Democrats are continuously getting away with lying to the American people. The amount of propaganda the Democratic Party pours into American media is astronomical. It needs to be studied how this much propaganda was allowed to be fed and spoon-fed right into the mouths of American people. I hate how the liberal woke mob has turned this as if it's not a problem at all. This is a massive problem in our country. We have illegals overwhelming public systems I talked about. And the legacy media is now panicking now that Donald Trump is in office and he's doing what the American people voted for. Over 58% of Americans support mass deportations and not allowing any illegals to stay in this country. Even President Obama, when he was in office, said that if you are going to be in this country, you're going to learn English. If you're illegally in this country, you will be deported back to your country. Hillary Clinton said the same thing before. Bill Clinton said the same thing before. And it wasn't until Donald Trump in 2014 or 15 said he's going to build a wall that it immediately became racist to say, oh no, illegal immigrants are bad. Illegal immigrants have always been bad. Yes, illegal immigrants can do some okay things for the economy, but they are a net debt to the United States. They cost way more than they bring in taxes. They're overwhelming our systems and our hospitals. They're causing crime in our country. If I was to go to any other country in the world, I would be on my best behavior, better than I even am in America, because I'm representing America when I'm there. I'm representing more than just myself. For some reason, that doesn't click in illegals' minds when they are raping and murdering children in this country. It is despicable what is happening. It is despicable that no Democrats voted for the Lake and Riley Act and that they want illegals to not only pour over the border, they want them all to have social security numbers. They want to be given privileges that even Americans don't get. In California, you get free health care just for being an illegal alien. I don't think anyone should get free health care, but definitely not illegal aliens in our nation who broke U.S. Code 8-1325. It is a federal crime to break into this nation illegally. It is something that has been continuously allowed under the Biden-Harris regime and that Donald Trump put an end to, and I'm so glad that he rescinded the legal status of over 500,000 illegals who are in our country today. They should not be in our country. They need to go back to their countries. If they want to be in the United States legally, they should have self-deported and applied legally. The Attorney General, the Press Secretary, and the President, the Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump, told them to. That is exactly what we need to do. We need more illegals self-deporting, saving the American taxpayer money, and giving them a chance to get back in our country. If you're not here to cause crime, then leave, stop committing the crime you're currently committing, and come back legally. Just because you're in a South American country doesn't give you the right to jump over our border. That's a huge FU to everyone who's in Pakistan or refugees from places like that who can't just hop over the border because there's a huge ocean in between. It's extremely selfish of people on the southern border to just think just because they're there that they have a right to come in our country. You do not have a right to come into America. It is a privilege. Moving on to our next topic today, the Supreme Court has reinstated Trump's tariffs. District judges and lower level courts have been used by the Democratic Party to stop Trump's agenda, to stop everything that the American people voted for when they voted Donald Trump in office. When I cast my vote for Donald Trump, I voted for mass deportations. I voted for the end of DEI. I voted for Doge. I voted for all the things that liberals are constantly tweeting. Did you guys vote for this? Did you really vote for this? Yes, it's exactly what I voted for. It's exactly what all the other conservatives voted for as well. We're done with people ruining women's sports. We're done with DEI. We're done with inflation. We're done with the white racism. We're done with all the things that liberals have been doing to ruin this country. Conservatives are here to make America great again. Donald Trump is someone who set America in a new path, a way better path than it was in before. I've talked about on this show, it feels extremely refreshing to, for once in my lifetime, have a president who cares about me. I was born in 1999. I did not think George Bush cared about me. I did not think Obama cared about me. I definitely did not think Joe Biden cared about me. It is very nice to have a president in office who speaks to the American people almost on a daily basis. One of the most transparent presidents we have ever had, who talks right to the people themselves, gives answers to the people, speaks truths to the people, and as the media comes at him relentlessly, more than they've ever come at almost any president before in history, he still fends off the media, tells the truth to the American people, and lets them know that everything will be okay, because he is an excellent negotiator. He is the commander-in-chief. He is doing everything he can to end the wars around the countries. He is trying to get his agenda through that the American people voted for, the mass deportations, ending DEI, getting the Doge cuts through, getting new legislation with taxes as well. I think that's extremely important. No taxes on tips, no tax on overtime. These are massive wins that Donald Trump is bringing to America that for some reason CNN, liberals in general, love to complain about. They love to say that Donald Trump isn't doing anything positive for this country. Donald Trump is saving this country right now from all the damage that the Biden-Harris regime did to this country when they broke it. It is despicable for how long they got away with ruining this country. Joe Biden should have been impeached extremely early on when people realized that he was incompetent. The fact that the Her tapes came out proved that everything conservatives were saying for years, that we all knew that Joe Biden had dementia, that he should not be in office. Why did it take so long for Jake Tapper and Pelosi and all these people to finally admit it? It is ridiculous. It's corruption. All the people who hid it should be removed from their positions. They should even be prosecuted. I think hiding the idea that we don't even have a president in this country should be a prosecutable offense. I don't know why that's controversial, but for some reason on X and Twitter and Facebook, that's a controversial statement to make. We need to do what we can to remove all the rogue bureaucrats, all the rogue government officials who are lying to the American people right to your faces from our government. Why would you cast your vote for somebody who's going to lie directly to your face, and then when they get caught, they're not going to apologize? They're just going to say, oh, it's what we had to do to defeat Trump. That is a ridiculous statement, a dishonest way to go about life. The American people will see through it time and time again. The American people are so much smarter than our government makes them out to be. Our government does not give the American people enough credit for how smart we really are when we come together as a community. That's why they are trying to break apart the nuclear family. It's why they're trying to destroy society as a whole, and why we've seen such breakdowns in what we have had in our society in the last 10 years. I'm very glad we have Donald Trump at the wheel. I'm very glad we have someone who cares about the American people, fighting for the American people. I know Democrats are not fighting for the American people anymore. They stopped that a very long time ago. They haven't even held a real primary in decades. It's one of the most ridiculous things that Democrats want to cry that we're the party of fascism, when in reality, Democrats aren't even a real democracy. It's just an absolute joke, and SNL couldn't even write these jokes. I want to get on to our next topic. Sydney Sweeney is selling her bath water as bars of soap. This is absolute degeneracy. If you buy this, please never talk to me again in your life. It's absolutely disgusting that someone wants to bathe and then sell that water. It's even more disgusting that people are going to pay $48.99 for it. thousands, probably millions of people, depending on how many they sell. I'm assuming it will sell out given the degeneracy in our culture now. But thousands of people have already lined up online to buy this beauty bar, as they're calling it. It's made up of Sydney Sweeney's bathwater. Instead of protecting women's modesty in any way and dignity, instead of protecting the beautiful things about women and what make them so great, degenerate celebrities, Sydney Sweeney, who are having sex on camera all the time in shows about high schoolers, are now selling their bathwater and acting like that's okay. How did we get to this point in America? How are we okay with somebody selling their bathwater and people are like, yep, take my credit card info, I'm gonna buy that? It's one of the most, how did we get here? I don't understand it. I'm crying inside right now at the thought that people are going to go out, they're going to work 2 to 3 hours, whatever it takes them to make $48.99, and then they're going to spend 2 to 3 hours of their hard-earned time and money to go buy that soap bar, to then go wash themselves with someone else's dirty bathwater just because they find them attractive. It's disgusting. If you find Sydney Sweeney attractive, welcome to America. You don't have to buy her bathwater. You could Google a picture of her. You watch a movie with her. Why are you washing yourself in the shower with a bar of soap made up of her bathwater? This is disgusting. Are you kidding me? If I had a son and I found out my son was buying Sydney Sweeney bathwater soap, I don't know if I'd let that kid out of the house again. He definitely wouldn't have access to money until he's 18. It's one of the most Are you kidding me? Why are you, I can't even get out a full sentence. I'm in such shock. Someone is turning bathwater into soap, and us as Americans are allowing this to happen. We need to deport her. Send her to any other country in the world. This should be a punishable offense. Degeneracy. It is disgusting. I vote no against this. I think we should move Sydney Sweeney to the furthest place on the globe from us. If you were in almost so many other countries and you tried this, you would just be jailed because it's disgusting and sexual, and minors are going to buy this. It is grotesque that she's allowed to do this. Sydney Sweeney should be canceled for life for this. I want to go on to our next topic. Project Veritas catches another hot mic moment with David Hogg. David Hogg, who I have reported on before, he was the vice chair of the DNC. A absolutely ridiculous position for him to be in. David Hogg is nothing more than an unintelligent child who wants to push gun control in America, but has no actual idea of what the results of gun control are. When you have gun control, all it does is take guns out of the hands of Americans who follow the law. It doesn't mean that criminals are going to give up their guns. It doesn't mean that cops are going to be able to take the guns away from criminals that easy. They're going to still have weapons. They're still going to be able to rob stores and shoot up schools and all these things. Every single gun law we have would not prevent any more crimes from happening. Saying that this is a gun-free zone doesn't stop a criminal from bringing their gun in it. That just encourages them more because they know most likely other people don't have guns. So they're just going to be able to go on a spree, on a robbing spree, on a killing spree. Whatever they want to do, they'll be able to accomplish easier in a gun-free zone because there will be less people to stop them. The best way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. But what David Hogg got caught in his hot mic moment was he was talking trash about Nancy Pelosi. What we all know, and conservatives have been saying forever, is she is abusing the congressional power with trading with stocks, that she has a better return than almost any hedge fund in New York City. That Nancy Pelosi, who was at one point just a woman getting into politics, is now the greatest stock trader of all time, beating Warren Buffett. I'm going to play this clip for you guys real quick, and then we'll talk about it right after.
I would say Pelosi's actually very good at her job. I don't agree with the stock trading stuff. I mean, she gets better returns than almost every hedge in this city, every year. Some of these members of Congress make trades that are, way too well-timed to not have, insider knowledge. They happen to be some of the best financial analysts in human history.
Have you spoken against that?
I've talked to it, but it's also I know that if I pick that fight, it's going to be harder for us to get gun control passed, so I have to pick my battle. The hardest part about my job is I just want to burn everything down, because it's all so corrupt. But you got to pick your battles and slowly build your momentum.
Joining us now, DNC Vice Chair David Hogg.
We're not going to go after Pelosi. One, We wouldn't beat her, even if we wanted to. That's part of it. But two, it's an unnecessary fight when there's other members that are far weaker. And I would say Pelosi's actually very good at her job. I don't agree with the stock trading stuff. Some of these members of Congress make trades that are way too well timed to not have insider knowledge, and it's a huge problem.
Do you think that's how Pelosi is worth hundreds of millions of dollars?
Yes. I mean, she gets better returns than almost every hedge fund every year.
And you don't think that has to change?
No, it does.
How would you change that?
I just ban members of Congress from owning stock.
So
have to put their assets in a blind trust.
You're going to prop up candidates who oppose that? Is that your goal, to prop up candidates?
I mean, in part, yeah.
Because it's a long haul. There's 435 members, and most likely 430 of them are doing the same thing, which is why they don't want to. I don't know, but I'm just stating.
I think it's a pretty good guess.
Allegedly.
Yeah, just conveniently. They happen to be some of the best financial analysts in human history.
Have you spoken against that?
I've talked to them in the past, but it's also like, I know that if I pick that fight, it's going to be harder for us to get gun control passed. So I have to pick my, like, the hardest part about my job is I just want to burn everything because it's corrupt. But you got to pick your battles and slowly build.
The blatant corruption by the Democrats needs to stop. The fact that Nancy Pelosi has been able to get away with this for a long time is not okay. And it's not just Democrats. It's also Republicans who are trading in Congress. I think that we need to pass laws to make it so that if you're in Congress, in our government, you should not be able to own stocks. It makes no sense that the people who are voting on the laws that impact these companies are able to then invest in these companies based off that information that only they know. That is literally insider trading. And it's blatant corruption when we can't even get the people that we voted into office to represent their constituents, us, the American taxpayers, to say that, yeah, we probably shouldn't be able to insider trade. The fact that we have 400-something people in congressional seats and maybe only 5 or 10 of them would vote in favor of the American people here, that people in Congress should not be able to trade, is disgusting. It's corruption. We need to get a lot of the people in our government out of our government so that way we can get better laws in that represent the American values and American people. The insider trading does not represent American values and American people. We can't do anything about it except tell them that we're not going to vote for them again if they don't vote against it in the future. I want to see the Nancy Pelosi bill on Donald Trump's desk ready for his signature so that way people in Congress cannot trade on stocks anymore. The fact that Nancy Pelosi was able to get away with this for so long is terrible. The fact that David Hogg is the one reporting it to a Project Veritas undercover, absolutely insane as well. I can see why they got rid of him at the DNC, an absolute liability, even though it worked out in conservatives' favor. I want to get on to our next topic. A Maryland teen breaks into 121 cars in the span of 2 weeks. He gets arrested for 5 hours. After spending 5 hours in a youth detention facility, he is then released by a liberal woke judge. That very same night, he's back out on the streets doing it again. No surprise. This is exactly what we've been saying. You can't just arrest criminals and let them go. They are criminals. You need to be putting them in jail. We need to lock criminals up. I understand wanting some sort of prison reform, and that prison is not always helpful in every way, but it is helpful in making the streets safer for American taxpayers and American citizens who are not committing crimes. I am not out there robbing people, murdering people, hurting people, looting and raping, or doing any of the things that people in jail are doing, but the fact that they are able to walk out of their jail cells and commit those very same crimes that night is disgusting. It would never happen here in Florida, but in woke liberal states like Maryland, it is happening all the time. It's happening in Chicago, it's happening in New York, it's happening in cities and states all around the country, and it is ruining America. We need to stop this. It is despicable that this young individual was allowed to break into 121 cars, be only jailed for 5 hours. 5 total hours. There are probably movies longer than that. And then he's doing the very same thing that night. I could have told you that would have happened if you let him out. The fact that they let him out is everything that conservatives are speaking against in America. It is terrible what liberals are trying to do to this country. I want to go on to our last topic. I already reported on this a little bit yesterday, but we're going to talk about it one more time. Olivia Juliana is now the left's new plan to win back men. An overweight lesbian influencer is the Democrats' plan to win back male votes. I talked yesterday about how they're spending 20 million federal taxpayer dollars. So if you worked last year and you paid taxes, guess what? You're now paying for liberals to figure out how they lost the male vote. They lost the male vote because the stuff they're doing right here. They're trying to win back the male vote with an overweight lesbian influencer. None of those things are... I'm going to pop up a picture right here of this woman for you guys. Like, what about this is appealing to young male voters or males in general? This is terrible. Where are the Democrats finding these people? Why do they think they know what they're talking about? She talked in an interview about how she talks to frat guys all the time. I doubt she would ever get in a frat house, but how she talks to frat guys all the time and they tell her that they are pro-abortion, they don't care about immigration. She has no idea what she's talking about. She's probably talking to one or two people and she's getting very dumb information. All her knowledge is based off of mistruth. She is not speaking the truth at all. She is saying that men won't have to take care of their babies if they just kill them, was basically her argument. That if you just get an abortion, all these frat guys are going to be happier because they're not going to have to take care of their children. I don't understand the message she's trying to push across, and I don't understand how she thinks she's going to reach young men in this country. You want to know what reaches young men in this country? People like Peter Hegseth. People who do push-ups, sit-ups, chin-ups, and work out every single day, trying to push their testosterone to new levels, trying to increase their value as men, accomplishing hard tasks, building businesses, employing people, doing all the things that men have done for generations to build society. I don't understand how liberals can't grasp the fact that they isolated and ostracized men, specifically white men in our country, and that's the reason that they lost male support. If you were to not have called white men the devil, not have told men that they're just being men was toxically masculine, and not have over-sexualized women to the point that they are borderline undateable in this country, or at least the majority of the younger generation is borderline undateable. It's hard to meet a woman who hasn't slept with half the country. It's disgusting. The fact that people like Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue even exist in this country proves the degeneracy we're going through. I need America to take a step back. I need America to look at everything the Democrats are doing and just laugh for a second. Laugh at the fact that Democrats have lost the male vote. They're now paying to try and get it back, and the people they're paying to get it back are overweight lesbian influencers. Again, SNL and South Park couldn't even write these jokes. It is just crazy where we're at in our country today. I'm James Pascalides. This has been episode 59 of America Unfiltered. I'm signing off today. I hope you guys have a blessed weekend, a blessed Friday, and I will see you guys Monday. Thank you.